So, ladies and gentlemen, please go absolutely wild and crazy for Mr. Boris Johnson, the Mayor of London.
Can you hear me? Thank you very much. Well, thank you, sir, for that very kind and very enthusiastic introduction for quite late on a Friday afternoon. And it's a real pleasure for me to be here. This is the second time I've done the InnoTech. Are there any veterans of my previous speech to InnoTech? Well, thank you for the triumph of hope over experience in coming to hear me again. This is something we value very much. It's very important for our city. London has many extraordinary features, and it is continuing to be the most astonishing magnet for talent, for genius, for intellects of all kind. I had the former French Prime Minister, Monsieur Alain Juppé, in my office not so long ago, very distinguished French politician, now the mayor of Bordeaux. And he called in to my office in City Hall, and he explained that he was the mayor of with 239,517 people in his city, he was the mayor of the 9th biggest city in France. And I got the ball back firmly over the net, and I said that I had 250,000 French men and women here in London, and therefore I was the mayor of the 6th biggest French city on earth. And I think you'll agree that was telling him. And I think we're about the 20th biggest Russian city, where I've just been to Dubai, where we did some memorandum of understanding about tech, and they call us the 8th emirate here or rather Knightsbridge is apparently the 8th emirate. And that is a great virtue in a city that wants to be at the cutting edge of an industry like this. And I've got to be totally honest with you. I'm always candid with my audience. I have to tell you that I didn't know that this great explosion of tech was happening when I first became mayor. In fact, it took me many years to realize that it was happening. I now, of course, claim whole and exclusive credit for it, but it happened more. We've got business after business arriving in London, haven't we? Boozoo. Have you heard of Boozoo? Have I pronounced it correctly? They've just come. 24,000 tech businesses here in London: nanotech, fintech, biotech, green tech, InnoTech. There are huge numbers of brilliant people coming to London. And I have to be honest, as I say, and admit that there are some things that are just beyond my control in their decision-making processes. We cannot help it. We are located in the right place geographically. I think we're now beamed into California, is that right? Yeah. Where the poor things, they're just waking up to this. But all day long, we have been talking to Beijing and stuff, haven't we? And points east, which they haven't been able to do in California. I make my point laboriously. We have the right time zone. We have the right language. We've got 300 of the right languages. We have more museums in Paris. We have more Michelin-starred restaurants in Paris, which is a material consideration, I know, for you tech city guys. And we have less rainfall than Rome. And I know that the reason people come to London, I'm going to wrap this up very, very quickly, just to say the reason people come to London is for an indefinable quality that you find in that Shoreditch area, going through Hackney, right the way through to Canary Wharf. There's something amazing. Groovy is the word, the up-to-date word I think I want to reach for here. It is a groovy, it's got a vibe, hasn't it? And I think there's very little that we politicians can do positively to affect that vibe. I mean, I think I would probably dispel it if I arrived in person. But what we can do is create the conditions in which the vibe flourishes. And is that what brings clever people here and innovators here? And those conditions are very, very simple. Number one, you've got to have a very safe city. You've got to have a city where people can go about their business without feeling the slightest threat, where they can enjoy hanging out as we are today. And London, in London, crime was down 13% over the last 4.5 years, to pick a period entirely at random. And the murder rate, a fifth of that of New York. I tell our friends in America, the murder rate in London, fifth of that of New York, and of course down to levels not seen since the 1960s. We're going through a neo-Victorian surge of investment in the transport infrastructure. that makes great cities habitable, that makes us enjoy living there. We're putting in Crossrail, as you know, coming right the way through here where we are in Canary Wharf, connecting up the east and west of the city in the most extraordinary way, adding 10% to our rail capacity. We're putting air conditioning on the tube. We're doing all sorts of outstanding and wonderful things. We've got bicycles all over London. We've got them in Canary Wharf now too, I believe. Have we got the bike car scheme? We jolly well should do. We have. We've got bicycles. We've got clean buses. We're planting tens of thousands of trees. The quality of life is steadily improving. And those are some of and add that together with our willingness to foster and encourage tech businesses with the London Fund, with everything that London and Partners do to welcome new business. I think that begins to explain why London is not only the world capital of finance, which it still is, 320,000 people still involved in finance, the world capital of art and culture. I don't think anyone's going to dispute that. And also the world capital of innovation, isn't it? Or certainly the European capital. I would say the world capital of innovation. I mean, look at all the great inventions of the last 200 years. Where did they take place? Where was the machine gun first invented? Where was the machine gun first invented? Anybody know? In Hatton Garden in London. Where penicillin? Penicillin, where was the most important drug? Thank you very much. In Paddington, in Praed Street in Paddington, it was first invented. A very useful thing to have after a night out in Praed Street. I imagine penicillin. Where was the first TV set? Where was the first TV set in the world turned on? Where was it? Does anybody know where the first, Howard, you know this because you've heard me say this before. It was London, Howard, that's right. But whereabouts in London? It was not Crystal Palace. No, very, very. You're following my speech though. It wasn't Crystal Palace. It was in a room above what is now the Bar Italia in Frith Street in Soho. What was the most important scientific theory of the last 200 years that really changed our view of man's place in the universe? Or change the view of everybody in this country. I know there's several million people in America who still think differently. Now, watching now, I'm sorry if I've caused any offence to any creationists watching this show. Where was Charles Darwin? Where was Charles Darwin when he? Anybody know? That's right. He was in Bromley. He was in Bromley, wasn't he? And I hope all you brilliant inventors and tech experts have a chance to go to Bromley very shortly. When you meet the people of Bromley and you behold their natural, physical, intellectual advantages, you will understand why Charles Darwin postulated the doctrine of natural selection and the survival of the fittest. That is the city which I'm proud of him. And let me hands up who has there's a chap using one there. Hands up who has an iPhone or an iPad or an Thank you. Look, there we go. We've all got them. Now look at this beautiful thing. Perhaps the most beautiful machine ever molded to the hand of mankind. Who knows where the author of this design, where did he originate? Chingford, that's right, Chingford, ladies and gentlemen. That was where Johnny Ive was born. That's where he grew up, in Chingford. And when you go to Chingford, you meet the people of Chingford, and you behold the natural aesthetic of Chingford. You understand the spiritual and intellectual origins of these beautiful machines that we all use and love. And that's our city. That's why people want to come to London. That's why it's not only the capital of finance, the capital of art and culture, but the capital of tech too. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming along today. I hope you're having a productive session. And Jennifer's now going to instruct. We've now got to go over and talk to California. Is that right?
Are you ready to hang
I'm
out?
ready to hang out. Yeah.